Welcome to UWS Weekly, a show that is dedicated to covering United Women's Soccer, a national pro-am league with your host, Jonathan Ward. Each and every week, we will highlight players, supporters, and staff of the clubs we all pride ourselves to support in North America. The UWS is a league that is committed to advancing women's soccer. Good evening, soccer fans, and welcome to the UWS studios and to UWS Weekly, a show fueled by Rain Body Fuel and dedicated to the best women's pro-am league in the world. My name is Jonathan, and I'm excited today to be joined by members of Lancaster Inferno for the show. It's been a slow week of news for the UWS and UWS since we were last live with UWS Weekly just a short 5 days ago, but we did have a UWS 2 announcement drop as the Great Lakes Conference schedule was released just yesterday. The Great Lakes Conference of the United Women's Soccer League 2 kicks off its inaugural season this summer with experienced and quality teams. 11 Michigan-based organizations make up the 2021 UWS 2 Great Lakes lineup, with the opening game occurring on Saturday, May 8th, and will conclude July 21st through 25th with 4 really important and crucial matchups. Make sure you check out the full schedule online at uwssoccer.com. Joining me tonight representing Lancaster Inferno, I am pleased to be joined by Coach Rob Smith, who is former Vice President of Soccer Development and Community Outreach at the Philadelphia Union, President and former president, as well as current board member of FC Delco, who started the girls program. Also joining Rob from the team is captain, former pro, second grade teacher, and coach, Teresa Rook. Good evening to you two. How are you guys doing? And thank you for joining me.
Doing great.
Doing great.
So before we get started tonight, I have to ask the question, tell us about yourselves just a bit and how you got started in the game that we all love. And Teresa, we'll start with you.
I think I started around 5 years old. I had an older brother who played, wanted to be like him. My mom started coaching me. My dad coached me a little bit into my youth soccer and just fell in love with the game. Wanted to get better and just continued throughout my life until now. Still.
Rob?
Yeah, I actually was, I'm going to date myself here a little bit, but I go back into the day of pre-club. I actually found the sport via accident, little headache at football practice. Gym teacher recruited me to the soccer field, went out, saw some players juggling, got a little fascinated, ultimately gave up football, basketball, and baseball and dove with 2 feet into it, and I've never looked back. And I can tell you it's been a, when they say game changer, life changer, it has been for me. And so here I am today.
So I have to ask, Teresa, let's talk a little bit about you and your background. You had a career at James Madison University where you had a lot of opportunity to play against some really top-notch talent, as well as being a part of top-notch talent. And you hold some records, if I'm not mistaken, at James Madison. Can you give me some idea if those records are still intact?
This record is still intact.
Nice.
Yeah.
Rob, you were instrumental in starting the girls soccer program for FC Delco and also coached high school. What are your fondest memories of those times in the youth programs?
Wow. I would have to go back to and really tell you the experiences with the players on and off the field. I was fortunate enough to be a part of FC Delco back in its heyday when we were one of the top clubs in the country. I coached the boys team, and through travel and family travel in the soccer community, families travel together. I was informed that there were a team full of girls that were little sisters of the brothers that were playing in these tournaments. And could we put a tournament team together and allow them to have something to do when we were there? So, I went back to the board, got approval to do that. We threw this tournament team together, which actually lost in the final, but was a really good group of girls. So they go to this tournament with no training. It was very eye-opening to me. So when my boys team moved on to college, I petitioned and got the girls club started, and a fellow by the name of Bill Whitney and myself were really instrumental in bringing the club along on the girls' side to be the equivalent of the boys. Then that passion took me into high school to provide an opportunity for a local high school that had four different coaches in 5 years. So I really went there to help the athletic director stabilize the program with a common face for the girls. And we went on to win 5 state championships in 10 years. And I've been hooked on providing the opportunity for women ever since.
That's great. And to think it still goes on, and FC Delco still has a really good program, both men and women at the youth level. So that's awesome.
Okay.
Teresa, you have played against some current and past U.S. women's national team players during your college days. What's one memorable game you experienced in college and at the youth level with ODP? A game comes to mind for me, and it goes back to November 14th. I won't timestamp or year stamp that game just for the sake of not doing so, but there's a that you may want to talk about.
November 14th, was this my last game of my college soccer career at UNC? All right, we'll see. Yeah, we'll start with that one. That was a memorable game, but I wouldn't say one of my favorites because it did end my college career. We were in the second round of the NCAA tournament. We went up 1-0 against UNC, and I remember playing against Megan Klingenberg because she was a former teammate of mine when I went to regional camp and then became a part of that team. We went to Ireland together. And was playing against her in that game, along with I believe Crystal Dunn, right? And so we were up 1-0 at halftime, and then I think Anson Dorrance gave him a real good talking to, and we lost 3-1 at halftime. So they finished the game on top, but it wasn't an awful way to end my soccer career.
So, Rob, before you joined the Inferno, you worked for a local MLS club in the Philadelphia Union. Tell me about your time with the Union and the work you did in that community with the foundation in the club.
Yeah, well, first off, I know Teresa really well, and she's being a little humble. Teresa is definitely a great player that I knew as a youth, although she played for FC Delco just for a short stint, but had a tremendous college career. So give yourself a little credit, and I'll give you some credit.
I know what you're talking about, and we lost.
Yeah, and it's a pleasure to coach her now. But yeah, back in 2008, Philadelphia got a MLS franchise. Which is what we now know as the Philadelphia Union. I was actually hired in 2008. We had a franchise, no employees, so I was one of 2 people that were hired straight away. And there's no stadium. There's a pile of dirt. There's a lot of things to do with really a CEO and 2 staff members. So early on, we did a lot of everything from value engineering a stadium, looking at designs, and as people came on, those things went away. But I was initially the director of operations. Fast forward, once we got settled in 2010, played our inaugural game, I was asked to go into the community and also do some soccer development things, where I became vice president of soccer development and community outreach. And what was really exciting about that, I would say that we did it in a non-traditional way. We did not assume what the community wanted or needed. We actually went into the community. And when I say that, my office moved from a corporate office to inside of a high school building right next to the principal's office. And I interacted with the youth in the community for the first half of the year. So I would pop in and out of my office at the corporate office, but I had an office there. I ultimately ended up introducing soccer into the PE curriculum and taught it there, as well as running some professional development, getting to meet other stakeholders in the community outside of the school district, and really came back to the union with a ton of data, ton of information, which ultimately led to us developing a foundation, which is the Philadelphia Union Foundation, which I currently am on the board. And from, the mission was Chester first initially, as we were raising funds and doing things. And I'm really happy to say, fast forward, Chester High School, which is the community we're in, had not had a soccer team for 30 years. It is now fully funded and operational, thanks to the Philadelphia Union Foundation and all the stakeholders to help put it together. So a lot of community work in underserved community,
and that work still continues today. So that's amazing. It's not often you hear about clubs or MLS or any of the higher tiered league teams that go out into the community and continue such a adventure or opportunity for the youth in that particular community. So bravo to the Philadelphia Union. Teresa, from your playing days overseas, how does that level compare to the one that you experienced in the UWS? So playing over in Europe, it's quite different, right? Or we assume it's different to some extent. How does it compare to the experience in UWS?
I played in Sweden my first year, and their level and compared to this very high, lots of different tiers, and a very well put together team I had at Kvarnsveden, for short kick, because I know my friends from Sweden would say I'm saying that way wrong. So I would say it's a bit higher at that level, at the professional level in Sweden. And then in Iceland, I did play in the top league, but it was a team that had been fighting to stay in that top league and going, up and down between that and the second league. And I would say it's a very similar level to what I'm playing in the UWS. Now, the players there wouldn't all consider it professional. It was professional for me because I went over. I was one of few international players, and I was being paid as my job to play. But that's not true for all of the players on the team in that league, even at the top level in Iceland.
So, Rob, you had been a part of that Philadelphia Union staff, and you were working with FC Delco. What attracted you to join the Inferno staff?
That is a direct connection to the FC Delco culture. I actually coached Steph. I met her father, Francisco, through FC Delco, and I think Francisco will attest to this. I did not have many conversations with parents. I enjoyed the players, and I wanted it to stay that way. Was having a conversation with Steph, and she just asked, And I thought about it for a minute. I said, I need to talk to your dad because I want him to understand my time constraints. And if they could accept the time constraints that I had, then I would be interested. But really, it comes down to the family culture at FC Delco, and especially with the players that I had direct contact with through coaching. There's a kind of a fierce loyalty when we pick up the phone and call each other, even if it's been years. So we listen, we help where we can. I have the time. I'm at the Inferno, and I can just tell you, my time here has been great.
Teresa, what's your most memorable experience or game playing with the Inferno at the UWS level?
Oh, well, it has to be, I guess it's 2 years ago. We kind of got, like the world got cut short a year, and so I have to look back even further. But we won our region 2 years in a row. I guess it was 2018 and 19. And I think the second time around we were up in Massachusetts, and to win our league in that game was definitely a highlight because they are an awesome team and program, and going to nationals out in Canada. It's just a great experience, a great team, a great culture, great training environment. And so the 2018 and 19 were awesome. Everything.
Rob, you're a relative newcomer to the league. What has impressed you most about the Inferno and the UWS?
I'll start with the Inferno first, and I will have some comments about the UWS because I think it's very impressive in my short time. It is for me the Inferno outside of Francisco and Steph and our relationship, and Julie and knowing T a little bit. It's really the players. The players that are here when I met them, their commitment, their thirst to learn and continue to develop is something that I really got excited about. They're committed. They come to train. There's girls making spending significant time traveling on the road to get to a training session. And it's been exciting. I mean, I have not coached really competitively for a long time, so I got hooked. And through that, I'll tell you, I had the privilege of meeting what I would say is the brains behind the UWS down in Baltimore at a convention, and I sat in on their AGM, listened to some of the things going on, went out and had dinner with them, and they have a plan. They want to grow the women's game. They're committed to the women's game and providing that pathway for the women to have opportunities beyond college. And with the Inferno, Francisco is insistent on creating the best professional environment that we can create in the community that we're in. So it's been a great experience, and I'm going to contribute as much as I can with the UWS to help them achieve their goals in creating that pathway, and with the Inferno, as long as I have the time to get it done.
Sounds like a plan. I'm in. Let's go.
All right. Sold.
Exactly. Hello. Sign. What do I sign? Where's the paper for this one? Teresa, what do you enjoy most about playing? Obviously, you have, another career in education, as many of us do, that work within the show. But working with second graders is you get a special award for that, special sticker. But what do you enjoy most about playing?
The creativity, the relationships that I get to create. Now I'm getting older and I feel like the players are getting younger. So it is a different type of atmosphere for me to play in now, but I do still learn from them. And I feel like, I turn my coaching, ticker down when I'm out there and just kind of enjoy it. And I just love getting touches on the ball. I love soccer. I don't know what else to say about that. It's just been really great, working with, and Rob has mentioned Steph and Francisco. Well, Steph was a teammate of mine and then a coach of mine. Francisco's provided this opportunity along with the Inferno for me to continue my career. Rob mentioned players traveling hours to practice, which is true. Well, I do have a career and I teach and coach, so I wouldn't be able to do that. So to have this opportunity and with a team that can perform and play and wants to compete and show up has really been awesome.
Rob, where would you like to see this organization and yourself in 5 years?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Well, first of all, I could tell you as it relates to the organization, I'd love to see them accomplish their goal of creating that pathway from, where they are today to Division II, Division III pro status. So the women that are playing have that opportunity continue playing, not only getting touches on the ball, but providing that developmental environment where some players have an opportunity to play in the NWS. And one thing I'll tell you that I've found out recently, we had a player play with us last summer who was really looking to get touches and stay fit, look for her opportunity. And she traveled from Baltimore to play with us. She is now playing with the Washington Spirit. And for myself, I don't look to hold on to players. I love to see them get to the next level, whatever that may be for each individual. So, for me is really that continued success. And, Steph and Francisco know, regardless of what I'm doing personally in my 5-year career trajectory, I'm a resource for them that's a phone call away.
Teresa, in addition to being a player, you're also involved in 2 new initiatives that are kicking off this summer for Inferno. Can you tell us about the Summer Select program and the USSF licensing course?
Yes. The Summer Select program is something that we thought would be good for our youth players because we have our League One and League Two now, and a lot of our League Two players are upper high school and some college players. And so our goal is to develop these players to be the future of Inferno. And I can't play forever, so there's got to be someone I can coach to take my place. So the league is really, the Summer Select team is really set up so that we can inspire, we can connect. These are the girls that come to our games, and we want to be involved and just get excited about women's soccer, and just get them to that next level. Now the coaching course kind of goes hand in hand with that. Some of our younger players, as well as myself, because I haven't gotten my D license yet. We are taking this course, and we want to be able to offer these kids that are in our Summer Select program or our summer camps qualified coaches. So the girls that will be working the camps are the ones that are taking these licenses and learning so that they have more to provide for these younger players. I'm really excited about it.
Sounds like a good time out, and obviously getting the opportunity to get your coaching license as well is kind of a big deal. So Good luck on that. It seems like a fun-filled summer. One of our resident, our show guests, Jake, he's based out of Houston, Texas. He has a question, and it's actually one of my questions as well. I ask how you measure success or what excites you heading into the season, and he's asking, what are you looking forward to achieve this summer? So it's kind of a two-headed question here. Let's start with what excites you heading into the summer. Teresa?
Just playing again, competing, meeting some new teammates that we can build and work together and get better throughout the summer. What am I looking to achieve? A national championship. I mean, that's the end goal. We've gotten close, and now would be a good time.
Coach?
Spoken from my captain. Ditto.
Some of the clubs in the UWS have a youth component attached to it or an affiliate. How do you recruit players as an independently run organization?
I think that our staff and everybody that's involved, just they watch games, they go out to games, they reach out. If we have players on the team that play at top schools and have teammates that are interested in playing, just getting their buddies to come out and play. I'm too old to get any of my buddies to play. They're all done playing. But they do. You have to reach out to players and get them out, involved. And once people get involved, they're usually hooked for a while until they move on to their career that they can't, give the time anymore to it. But our staff does a really good job of getting the players for us.
Coach, what about you?
I would echo that. There's a lot of recruiting involved. There's a network that has been established here with college coaches. That we can reach out to college coaches that are in the area, and even I would actually tell you not even in the area, but coaches that we have relationships with, that they have quality players that are looking for opportunities to stay on the ball through the course of the summer. So you have that, and then they have a nice little process. We do have an open tryout over this winter. Through COVID, we found a way to get the girls together with their mask on and knock the ball around. And I'd say half of the girls there, college players, did not play for us. So that gives us an opportunity to recruit and get them out as well.
Lancaster superfan Chris asks, I think this is directed at UT, who is your favorite coach or staff member?
Well, it's definitely our speed and agility strength coach, Chris. He is my absolute favorite coach, and I wouldn't play without him there.
There we go. He got his answer. I think he was looking for. He was fishing for that one. Jake asks, how can the football community help to promote the team? So we know social media to be this great access to everybody around the world. How can the football community help promote the team heading into the summer of 2021?
I'll answer that. That's a twofold question, if you ask me. One is, we have to make more people aware that this brand, the Inferno, is there. We can't make the assumption that everybody knows it's there. Secondly, the community, the football passionate people in the community need to support programs like this. It's opportunities once their club careers are finished. So in order for them to take advantage of this opportunity when their time comes, we have to put in take a little bit of time now, come out, support the team, go, show up at games when you can, because they have a congested schedule as well. Show up at fundraisers, volunteer if you can't play. We're always looking for help there. There's opportunities for internships, etc. So there's all kinds of ways, but first and foremost, I would tell you that it starts with us to continue to push the brand awareness of the Inferno in our community, in our geographic market.
What should fans and the community be excited about or look forward to this coming summer?
Us getting back on the field, games that they can come watch. We have 3 home games to start off our season in May. We're on the road a little bit, and then we're back at it. I guess the end of June into July. But just a new group of players. Some players that are returning. But just the passionate group of Inferno girls that always show up to play.
Yeah, I would echo that, and I would tell you it's a nice brand of soccer. We knock the ball around. We get in from every possible part of the field that we can. The girls work extremely hard, and it's fun to watch.
That leads us to the hot seat. So we're going to put you guys on the hot seat here for some questions, some hot takes, you could say. The first one is, what is your favorite season or time of year?
Fall.
Spring.
Ooh.
Would you rather play in the snow or hot temperature?
Hot temperature.
Hot.
Ocean, lake, or river? Which one are you going to spend more time on?
Ocean.
Lake.
Ask for permission or beg for forgiveness?
Beg for forgiveness.
I ask.
Now, this comes from our producer, Joe, who is not here. He is attending an Atlanta United CONCACAF Champions League match at this moment. He wants to know, his last one, if the toilet paper roll is low but not completely out, do you replace it or leave it for someone else?
I replace it.
I put one nearby just in case.
Good. And then last but not least, what is your most embarrassing soccer memory?
Oh.
Wow.
I don't know.
I can't tell you, so I have to go to the second most, which I'm not sure.
I do have one. I had I got a penalty kick my freshman year of college, and I always took penalty kicks, and I can't even believe I'm sharing this, but this is what came to mind. And we had a senior that was awesome, Annie Lowry. Shout out to her. I was a freshman. I walk up to take it. My coach is calling Annie's name. I'm waving him off. I got it. I worm burn the ball right to the side of the net. Not even close. That was embarrassing. I stayed away until my senior year. I shouldn't have done that. That's embarrassing. That's it.
Coach, coming back around to you. Any one that comes to mind?
Man, so I haven't played in so long. I tend to block those out and keep moving.
Fair enough. And then, Teresa, before I let you go tonight, and Coach, I'm going to take you off and bring you back on in a minute to talk a little bit about what you're doing outside of the community again. But what does the idea of community, what does community mean to you? Teresa, we'll start with you.
I think it's finding a common ground and being connected to those around you. It's actually interesting. We talk about community and how to be a better community member in second grade. It's not a concept that you start with as an adult. But yeah, it's just helping those around you. It's supporting those around you and trying to make everybody's life better in that area that you're in.
Coach?
Community to me is, in one word is togetherness. And if I had to go a little further, it's a community that's that's pulling for one another, wants everyone to be successful. Is not jealous of a community member's success, but rather learns from that success.
Awesome. Well, Teresa, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. I really appreciate the conversation we were able to have. I look forward to this summer and potentially doing this in person.
Yeah.
Maybe at a restaurant where we can have a conversation and get some dialogue. So I'm going to let you go, and Coach, the same. I'm going to bring you back up in a minute after I introduce the next segment.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
All right. So this segment is dedicated to highlighting individuals in our UWS community doing awesome things and great things away from the pitch. This person could be a supporter, club staff, or a player who continues to find ways to support their community or their club. I bring back Coach Rob Smith to talk a little bit about what he's doing as part of his initiatives as a founding member of SCORE. Coach, can you give us some insight into SCORE and what it does to help with the community?
Yes, I can. First of all, I'll tell you, this SCORE is an initiative that was started through the social injustice that we've seen, and SCORE was also put together to serve a broader community, and more specifically, the soccer community. SCORE stands for Soccer Collective on Racial Equality. Our goal is to really increase representation of Black and brown people in the sport, as well as women, and also to create equitable access to opportunity. So, that's really our mission. I'm one of 11 founders. There's some very accomplished former international and MLS and national team players that serve as members of our group.
How can people find out more about SCORE if they wanted to help be a part of it or even draw awareness to that initiative?
We do have a website. It's scorena.com. That'll give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on, or I should say who we are and what we are about. There's an info section there that you can email us, ask us some questions. But I'll give you an idea of a recent accomplishment that we're proud of. One of our members, Alan Hopkins, has put together the Clive Charles rule. Clive was a college coach out in the Portland area, very well known, had a tremendous influence on Alan, which is why we've named this initiative by him. But what Alan has done is reach out to prominent Division I college coaches to ask them if they would be willing to support a rule that promotes the minority community, Black and brown community, getting interviews, commit to interviewing Black candidates, men and women. Get them in the process. If they're qualified and your first choice, then hire them. But getting access to the interview is critical. As a result of that, along the way, we've been developing a pipeline so we know who we have in our community, one that is interested, two that is qualified, so we can help where we can. Sometimes that may mean mentoring, helping with professional development, plugging folks into a network that we may have access to, etc.
So I heard about a experience that you had with Crystal Dunn. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, I mean that was really exciting. So, you saw me perk up, right? And that's because this involved young uh, African American and Latino youth players. We Eddie Pope made contact with Crystal Dunn, asked her if she would be willing to speak to the audience. We were piloting this program or this project that we would like to do, and we targeted 20 girls, which ended up being close to 50. And really had, you have to excuse, I don't know the proper terminology, but it wasn't a webinar. It was a Zoom. We had 40 people on a Zoom. We had all the girls pre-send their questions in. Eddie moderated. JT Dorsey from the JT Dorsey Foundation helped as well, and in the back office production. And really, it was about the girls having an opportunity, the young ladies having an opportunity to speak to a player that looked like them at the highest level and really asked some questions, because a lot of the girls that we know and a lot of girls that were on this call are, the only ones playing on their teams. They're the only Black or Latino girl playing on an all-white team. So there's some things that they would like to have answered, some questions they would like to ask. That Crystal did a tremendous job making them comfortable, because she has experienced the same thing, and really helped keep them focused. The ultimate goal would be for us to bring these 40 girls together and put them through a high level mini camp weekend where they all could, one, meet one another, then train together and get a couple friendlies, and then go back home to their club teams with a wonderful experience and some knowledge that we could pass on.
Thank you for your time tonight, Coach. I really appreciate it.
Right.
I look forward to having an opportunity to speak with you in person once the season gets going, and hopefully we're able to do that soon. So thank you so much for sharing the information about SCORE, the team, Lancaster Inferno, as well as the UWS.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Can't wait to meet you as well. But I'd prefer to go to Sacramento.
Anytime. We can work on getting you out this way too. But there's some good golf spots too. We can play some golf.
All right. Terrific.
All right, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
Have a good evening.
You too.
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening for UWS Weekly. You can follow all things UWS and UWS2 on their social media pages, and send your questions for future shows as well. Next Thursday, we'll be back on our regular time frame, and we'll be joined by the newest expansion team to the UWS, Pensacola FC. So until then, have a great evening and weekend, everyone.